So we're prepping the spinach, and it's important that it's frozen, chopped spinach. And then you just gently thaw it.
So you're just running it under hot water?
Kind of lukewarm.
Lukewarm.
Yeah. And it's really going to be really important when we're done with thawing this that we drain it extremely well, so there's minimal water inside the spinach, because we don't want it to water down the ravioli.
Gotcha.
So let this kind of thaw, and then we'll come back to it. And in the meantime, I think we can start our prep of onions, finely chopped onion, celery, and carrot, and we'll kind of get those all into a bowl and pile so they're ready for us to cook. So I think next step is chopping. What I like to do is, take that onion, if we're gonna do a chop, roll your fingers back so you protect your fingers. Chop that, doesn't have to be perfect, especially for what we're doing. And then just kind of spin it around until you get something you can work with. And it's just a mess. Just got to figure it out.
Yeah. That's it?
That's it. All right, so we've got, we're going to start on the ground beef filling for the ravioli. And we're going to take approximately 8 pounds of fatty ground beef, 80%. It's critical that it's 80%. Mom loved the fact that it was 80%. So put those 8 pounds into a pot with a little olive oil, and we're going to saute the ground beef with some salt and pepper until it's cooked through. Okay, so we're back to the ravioli filling. We have browned about 8 pounds of ground beef. And the main thing there is you want to make sure that it drains well and that you break it up into small pieces so it's truly ground. You don't want any lumps in the ground beef. Also, we have thawed out 8 boxes of frozen chopped spinach. Again, the main thing there is to make sure that that's completely drained so there's very little water in it. Otherwise, it's going to really affect the raviolis. And then I'm about to take our Parmesan cheese, and we're going to chop that up in Mark's food processor. And we're going to come up with about 4 cups of Parmesan cheese that'll get added to the mix. So I've broken up the cheese, the full block of cheese, into just some smaller pieces and dropped it inside the Cuisinart, and then we're going to give it a blend. So we ran that through and chopped it pretty fine. You want to make sure, again, that you're down to a pretty fine chop on that, and we're going to need 4 cups. Okay, this is going to be the chopped spinach prep. It's been thawed. I took it out of that bowl, and I took one of Mark's white rags, and I've kind of dumped it into the center. And then we're gonna let Sam hold this for me. And then we take that. The best way to drain this chopped spinach is with cheesecloth or one of these cloths. So you get it in there and you just twist. And that's really you need this spinach to be dry. Really as much liquid out of it as possible. Otherwise it really messes up those raviolis. So cheesecloth is usually what you use.
We have that.
Oh, you do? We should have asked. Well, this is working fine. Yeah, no, this is working fine. And it gets us really dry.
So just letting it drain on
It's not, it'll never drain out on its own.
good enough.
No, it'll be wet and soggy. It adds too much water into that mix. You see that? And we can let it sit there for a little bit. But that's nice spinach right there. Onions, chopped nicely. We have our 8 pounds of 80% ground beef, and we've let that drain pretty nice, but we want a little bit of fat in it. And then we've got 4 cups of Parmesan cheese. And the process now is basically to assemble this. So we're going to just take our beef, and we'll dump it in the pot. Going to need a nice big pot for this quantity. There we go. All right. So that's our ground beef. And then this is just a straight add. We'll take our onion. medium onion ground beef. Spinach is in there. Did we do the spinach? Nope, I'm gonna drop the spinach in. Just make sure this is, this is the part that worries me. This is where you mess up. If this stuff is not dry, it's dry.
Cool.
Let's see, let's just what this look like. Oh,
See that consistency of it?
right.
There's still some moisture in there, but not a lot. And, you know, I think that's dry enough. So there's our spinach. We have 4 cups of nicely ground Parmesan cheese. You drop in there. 3 tablespoons of nutmeg. Now, I truly believe that this is the secret ingredient.
I remember Nan saying that.
It is. It gives it that flavor that. But I need somebody stronger to open it. All right, so Granddad's recipe calls for 3 tablespoons of nutmeg. So we'll start with that and then we'll taste from there. So we'll do 3 kind of nice, you know, 1. Oop. So that was like 2.5.
Gotcha.
Okay. So a little less on that one. And then we'll taste it. It's truly an item to taste, but I think it's fair that we start with.
Like this?
Yeah. Oh, sea salt's perfect. Let's start with like a tablespoon of each, and then we'll come back and add at the end if we think we need more after we taste our filling. So about a tablespoon of pepper, and we'll do about the same on salt. Salt's the one that can kill you. You don't want to over salt because you can't take it back. So we'll drop in about a tablespoon of salt.
And you use sea salt? Is that better, or does it matter?
I like the taste of sea salt.
Okay.
I think it adds a little flavor to things. But any salt would work, Sam.
Gotcha.
Any salt would work. Okay, so I think that's our total mix here. And basically, we're going to get our hands dirty. I think the easiest way to mix this is wash up hands, and we get in there and just kind of blend that all together.
Okay.
And then we'll set that off to the side, and we'll let it just sit and rest, because that's when ingredients start to blend as they sit. So we'll give it a little bit of time, and we'll start our pasta, or get cleaned up and start our pasta.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it smells like raviolis. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So get your hands dirty. You want to give it a shot?
Sure.
Yeah. All right. So the key is you got to keep breaking up the spinach, because the spinach gets clumpy, and you really want this to be completely mixed. You know, and kind of hand work is usually the best. But you got to get down deep in the hot.
Yep.
Beef's still a little hot, but it's not hurting your hand. So if you want to maybe mix that around, or keep going with that for maybe 5 minutes, and that'll get that really well mixed. All right, so we're going to start pasta also, and this is a third of our pasta for the big order that we're doing. But this is 3 cups of flour. I'm sorry, 5 cups of flour. And we're going to put some eggs in there in a minute when everybody comes in, and olive oil, and then start making. All right, so we're going to just take our eggs and drop them in that well. And it's about an egg per cup, roughly.
So
Per cup of flour.
5 eggs.
And maybe we'll start with maybe 4 and see what happens. We can always add 1 if we think it's. And then we'll just do a little bit of olive oil, maybe a tablespoon or so.
Okay.
And then need a fork.
What do you do? Like
Kind of just start
slowly
kind of pulling it in
That's
as
what
you're
I
trying to
was
mix the egg, you know, just to get it started, because it's a mess. You kind of scramble it and start pulling in the flour. All right, I'm going to lose it. Sorry, it's got to get messy at some point in time. That's the problem with this. It's time just to get messy, I think. So it's really, there's no easy way.
You get the chance to put that
kind of start rolling it in. You see that?
Yeah, it's
And
kind of.
it pulls it kind of into itself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know that there's any special technique, but it's my technique. And I think we're going to need another egg.
Yeah.
It's awful dry.
Yeah.
I'm doing much shells. I'm going to do 2. I really think that's too dry.
Yeah, you're probably right.
The mixer's a little easier, but
Oh, yeah, you do this all in the
just
mixer.
drop it all.
Yeah, we should have spent 200.
Yeah, right, right. All right,
Might
now
be
we're getting
worth it.
somewhere. And then it's just kneading. You kind of roll it and push with your palm. And keep trying to pull it in.
So we'll do how many of these?
3. This is 5 cups. And probably 7 eggs. Might need another egg. About, maybe an inch.
Okay.
See that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Get a little flour on both sides, otherwise it'll stick to the wheel.
Okay.
So the flour is the oil in all this. Keeps everything from sticking and yada yada yada.
Okay.
All right. We're going to start on number 1. Because if you try to push it through real thin on get 1, it tears it apart. You got to go like sequentially down the numbers.
Okay.
Okay. Jump to maybe number 3. You don't have to do each one.
You
So I
just
went
fold it over there?
I fold it over to try to get a square edge so I don't waste as much. Because it always pulls it to a point,
Right.
So just to kind of.
Right.
All right, so I was 3. I'll jump to 5. And there's no magic to how thick you leave your pasta. It's a matter of taste. I tend to think thinner pasta tastes better.
Yeah.
So I'm ending it on number 6. But you could take it down. You could leave it at 4 or 3 if you really like a thick, like meaty pasta.
Yeah.
But this will be a little bit thinner. So I'm rolling it to the number 6 is my final roll. And then you want to make sure you've got flour underneath your,
Okay.
because that keeps it from sticking to the counter. So you gotta put your flour down, roll it out. Okay. And then it's kind of easy. It's just kind of estimate half. And then you very simply, about a teaspoon. Maybe leave a inch, 2 inches between, so you have plenty of space to pinch. All right, take your second layer, just over top. Take your knife, separate them. Cut off your excess, put it back in, because it just folds back into the dough, and then pinch.
Okay.
The key here is, it's critical, try not to get any of your meat and stuff in the pinch zone, because it'll keep the pasta from sticking together. All right, and also don't pinch into the. If you pinch into the pocket and tear it, all that filling comes out when you boil it. So you got to keep your forks kind of right on the edge. You just don't want to go deep into the meat little pocket because it'll blow apart when you boil them.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Flour.
That's it.
Flour. So let's kind of repair that. And it's it's okay that they're all different shaped and different sizes and.
There's work involved.